Okay. Well, happy Monday, friends. So glad y'all are here. Tonight we are going to be talking about inviting, and it's going to be real good. But first, I want to go ahead and get a little bit of an update from you guys. So I want everyone to share what your goal that you're working toward right now is. So I know we all have big goals that we're working towards, but I want to know, like, specifically right now, what is the first goal that you're wanting to achieve and the date by which you want to achieve that goal. I know we talked about that in our big team call a couple of weeks ago about setting a timeline for goals, and how important that is. So little update from everybody, whoever has one. Already, go ahead and go first. Whoever does not have one can think of one before I get to you.
I guess I'll start.
Okay.
I'm definitely going to hit Success Club this month.
Okay.
So that's like my little goal, I guess. But I gotta make something happen.
Yeah, so that's your weekly goal. Awesome. I know you had a diamond goal. Is that still a goal? Do you have a new timeline for that?
Yeah. I haven't thought about it.
Okay.
It is still a goal. I don't see why it couldn't happen by the end of October.
Okay, then great. That's perfect. So diamond by October 31st.
Yes.
If you hit Success Club this month and next month, there's no reason why you shouldn't be diamond.
Yeah. Okay.
And I talked, I don't know if you guys watched the call from 2 weeks ago with Molly and I, but when you're shooting for a rank goal, I don't want you to worry about Success Club, because in order to hit diamond, most of the time it's going to be because you have built yourself to diamond with discount coaches. You have built your 2 emeralds. You don't typically have 2 business builders that have gone emerald themselves. Sometimes you do, and that's wonderful. But when you're building with just discount coaches, that's gonna be more important than you hitting Success Club in the long run. So like right now, I'm building Tim's account to diamond. So I likely won't hit Success Club, but Tim will. And that's okay, because what's most important to me right now is to go 2-star, because that is going to mean more income for our family. And, Success Club at this point, the only thing that Success Club does is contributes toward you getting to go on the Success Club trip. But newsflash, guys, it is not that hard to get an invite to that. Okay. So a month or 2 of not hitting Success Club is not going to mean that you won't get invited. And then it also will, obviously, Success Club dollars for the next year's or the coming year's trip. But right now, if you guys aren't going to the DR, to Punta Cana, then there's no reason for you to be worried about Success Club dollars, because that's this right now for the rest of the year, that's contributing to that trip. So if you're not going, then that doesn't matter. So if you're shooting for rank, build that and don't worry about that. Okay, so diamond by 31st. All right, who's next?
I can go, but my goal is to actually work my business again, because I haven't at all, to be honest.
Yeah.
I share my videos daily and that happens, but I have not invited anybody. I have conversations when people comment on things, and that's it. I'm not really doing anything. I've been so stressed out with work and just everything, and I've let it all just not do anything. And I thought about it and realized what I want to do is I still want to work the business. I don't think I ever want to full time this just be it. But it still tugs at my heart that I want to help people. So I still build a business and do that.
Absolutely.
And so I had to figure it out for a couple weeks, but now I'm back to where I actually want to start inviting people.
And you have someone that wants to do it with you. So Tracy's pumped to do this, so you guys can hit the ground running. So let's think in terms of a goal, like an action item goal. So if your goal is to work the business every day, what would that look like? And I'm sorry that my hair looks like this, but it is happening. What would that look like for you? Like how much time a day do you want to work, or like how many conversations do you want to have? Like what do you want to, just to keep yourself accountable to actually doing that? Like, could you commit to doing an action hour each day, or doing an action 30 minutes each day, or what? Let's set a goal for that.
I think 30 minutes right now would be great.
Okay.
Until awesome. I can get into a groove and say, okay, let's do an hour.
Okay.
Because it's been 0.
Yeah, no, and I get that. Absolutely. There are always seasons like that. If you ever want to talk to somebody about wanting to do this business just to help people and not wanting to do it full time ever, Jackie is a great person to talk to. She has no desire to quit her full-time job. She loves what she does, but she likes coaching because she likes to run challenge groups and help people. So if you ever want to have a conversation, she would love to have a conversation with you about that. Yeah. Okay, Donna?
So my goal that I've been working on all month is to be enrolled by the end of the month. Okay. But I know the last week or so work has been kind of stressful. I don't know if you know, but I work for a hospital in Houston. So I'm an outpatient coder, so I can work from home, but my insurance has become a problem. So I'm trying to find a job here in Austin within my degree field. So that's been a little stressful.
Okay.
Because I'm having to rewrite my resume and look up whatever's here, because I don't know this market. So my time that I've been using to work on it, I've had to stare at my resume and making sure that that's all up to date and all of my stuff is up to date. So, but I think I could do 30 minutes.
Okay.
But I don't think I could commit to a full hour with doing that, because on top of that, I got to find a car.
All right. Did you listen to that call I referenced a few weeks ago about going Emerald?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll have to go back and listen to it again because it's been a little bit, and remind myself what that was about.
Okay. Do you know what your like long-term goal with Beachbody is, or have you thought about that?
I mean, I like my career field, so I wouldn't want to do this full-time, but I would like to help people because I know it's something that has changed my life, and I like being able to share the option of having fitness without having, or fitness and nutrition. Like, it's another option, another avenue rather than like some of the more traditional routes.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
And sharing kind of what I've learned and kind of my growing into fitness, as it were, because I wasn't in fitness in high school. So, or my early 20s.
I think that's wonderful. And there's a huge market out there of people that would resonate with that. So you should talk about that more. If you have, and you don't have to answer this now, but if you have any financial goals when it comes to this business, definitely think hard about signing up your husband, because that will absolutely maximize your income. So that's, halfway to Emerald would be signing him up. And just as a reminder, when you sign up a spouse, they don't have to have like a Shakeology Home Direct. You don't have to sign them up with a challenge pack. You can, because it's a really cheap way to get more product if you sign them up with a challenge pack. But they just have to stay active, which means they have 50 PV. So we order all of our Energize and Power Greens and collagen and all of that through Tim's account. So that's how he stays active. He doesn't have any like Home Direct orders linked to his account.
Okay.
So just to keep that in mind, but that's completely up to you. If income goals are not something that you have related to Beachbody, then it's not super important. But if you do want to be Emerald and you have some income goals, that would be your first step.
Okay.
I do the same thing with my husband too, Donna. So
Okay.
I have Jamie signed up. He doesn't ever like work the business or anything, but yeah, all my Energize and Beach Bars and stuff come from his account.
Okay.
It's also a way to increase your team cycle bonus. Once you do go Emerald, then you can tap into that. When you sign up your husband, you want to place them on your week leg.
Okay.
And then whatever is purchased through their account will contribute to the team volume on that leg. And the more team volume you have, the more team cycle bonus you'll get. So, okay, so let's dive in. I don't want to keep you guys longer than 30 minutes tonight, so we're already halfway there. I just wanted to talk to you guys about inviting. So to just kind of set the stage here, you are not going to make progress in this business if you don't invite people to it. That's just, it is what it is. There are different types of inviting, and we're going to talk about that. But bottom line is you are not going to be able to just assume that when people see what you're doing, that they're going to want to join you, because you guys have all been coaches long enough to know that, sure, that can happen, but that is not typically the norm. You'll get that person every now and then that's like random message and you've never talked to them and they're like, hey, I want to join you. What do I do? And you're like, praise Jesus, where did that come from? But that is not typically what happens. So you're not ever going to reach all of these goals that we talked about. You're never ever going to reach those goals unless you invite people to join you, either in boot camps or this business opportunity. So there are two types of inviting, of invites, excuse me. There's public invites and there's private invites. Okay, so first we're going to talk public inviting. And this is things like your posts that you make on social media that include a call to action and your stories. All right, so when you're making a post, there are a number of different ways that you can use that as an invite. The first and most direct way to do that is with a specific call to action embedded in the post. So it can be something either with your boot camps or with the coaching opportunity, but it says something at the end like, I want you to join me, here's how. And it can be as simple as my next boot camp kicks off this day, you know, drop an emoji if you want more info, something like that. It can be a little more subtle, and we call that breadcrumbing. So a lot of times I'll do that with coaching posts. So sometimes it'll be a direct invite to the coaching opportunity, but sometimes it might just end with like a, why haven't you joined us yet? Winky face, like something like that. That's a breadcrumb. So it's not, they know that there's something that they can join, but it's not like a, hey, you, I want you to join me right now kind of thing. You should have a mix. If every post you ever make has a direct call to action in it, people are going to get tired of seeing that. People are going to start thinking that your social media is a little bit spammy. And we don't want to be that way. We want to foster a community. We want to foster relationship building. But we also want people to know that we do something in a service industry where they can take advantage and they can join it. So I would say at least once a week, you want to have a boot camp invite and you want to have a coaching invite that are direct. Okay, so twice a week have direct invites, and then every other post should be breadcrumb of some kind, unless it's just a lifestyle post. If it's a picture of your family, or if it's, you know, something non-Beachbody related that you're doing, obviously that doesn't need to include a coaching or a boot camp invite breadcrumb of any kind. Now with your stories, this is where you can really easily invite to something every single day, okay? Because people have the choice to watch your stories. They have the choice to see your posts as well, but when they're scrolling Instagram or they're scrolling Facebook, that's just going to pop up. With their stories, they're watching you because they want to watch you. So you have an embedded audience that you need to invite to something. Again, it can be direct or it can be breadcrumb. Either way, it needs to happen every single day. It's really, really easy to do that using the features in stories. So using things like the polls, the question feature, even the like little sliding scale. That is a really neat one that I've been using lately. People tend to use that a lot more than even responding to a poll. I think because it's a little bit vague, they don't feel quite as like, oh, I'm committing to something if I just like smiley face this thing. So it's a great way to see who's really engaging with your stories instead of just passively watching them. So I would encourage you guys to use that. I'm going to try to use that more in mine as well. Okay, and then another really great way to utilize your stories for invites, especially to the business opportunity, is to create your business information page on Instagram. Okay, you guys have seen me do this, and you've seen Rachel do this, where we've created, I have a Team Passion and Purpose page specifically, and the reason that that is so great is because it is a coach sneak peek just living there, and you don't have to say anything. It's just all the content is there. It took me about an hour of sitting down to create it, and then after that you load it up there and it's done, and you don't have to do anything to it. It's just living there forever. But what you do is, like today, right before we had this call, I got on and talked about I'm having a team call. And then I did a little, call to action. If you want to learn more about what we do as coaches, check out this page. And I linked the page in my story. So it's a really easy way to give people a ton of information without actually saying all of the information. So what you want to do with that page is make sure that it is actually a private page, because then people actually have to request to follow you. And then that is how you can keep track of people that are interested. All of the content on that page is yours for the taking. Really, there shouldn't be a ton of extra that you need to do to create your own. Excuse me, I would encourage you not to use exactly the graphics that I've made. You absolutely can. What's mine is yours, but you want to make sure it looks like you, because my aesthetic isn't necessarily yours. And then as far as the actual content goes, the only thing you're really going to have to change is your story, which is like the first picture. But everything else is just info. So you can just take those words, copy, paste, and use it. So I would definitely get in the habit of doing that. And it doesn't not matter if you don't have a team. You need to create one now. You can always change that handle if you change your team name in the future. Don't worry about that, but get in the habit of owning your business. This is even if it's a team of one, that is your team, and you can own it and you can invite people. The only way it's going to grow is if you invite people to it. So if you haven't made a team page already, I would really encourage you to do that. I've had some really good conversations with people that I didn't even realize had been watching my stories. Like they, I guess, didn't watch them regularly, so they weren't somebody that I had reached out to before, but they requested to follow, and I've been having some good conversations with them. So definitely do that. Okay, before we get into private inviting, does anybody have any questions about public invites?
I don't have a question about inviting, but the team page that you have, where can we find, so I can't see yours. I think I've requested to join, but I don't think I've been approved. So I guess I was just making sure, as far as the graphics go.
I don't have any follow requests.
Let me double check.
Do it again.
Okay, maybe recently then. Maybe I haven't checked it in like a couple of days.
It says you're following.
Yeah, it says I am now.
Okay.
So now I can see it. So
Okay.
that's my question then.
Okay, awesome. I do have all of this content in a Google Doc though, so I will post that in our team page, so you guys
Okay.
that'll be easier. And you guys don't don't get too in your head when it comes to making this team page, okay? This is something just like everything you post that's going to evolve after time. You know, the first time you create this team page, it might look a little bit janky. That's okay. You're going to get better and you're going to change it. And that is, I feel like that's a barrier for a lot of people. Like, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to look exactly how I want it to look. Don't let that stop you. Just do it. I feel like I was so much more successful at to some extent with getting people to join me in the beginning when I like didn't know what I was doing, because I just didn't have any fear. I was just like, you should join me. Like, this is what we're doing. Come join me. Now I like get in my head about what I'm supposed to say, and then I, shoot myself in the foot. So just do it. This is as you guys know, this is an earn as you learn type of business. Okay. So just do it first, and then we will make it better in the future. Okay. Any other questions before we get to private invite?
Do you find that you have more traction with the team page? Like more people that are looking or lurking or anything like that?
So I definitely don't have more than like on my personal page.
Okay.
It's definitely not more than that, but it's so pointed. Like, people are requesting to follow that for a reason. Since it's a private account, it's not getting like shoved out there like in the universe. So people that are requesting to follow have done so because they've seen me talk about it. So it's a very direct, and then automatically, guys, if they request to follow your team page, that is a invite rich situation. Like, you don't have to like beat around the bush about asking them to join you. Like, they've requested to follow, they want more info. So you can directly go in there and be like, hey, let's talk about this.
Okay.
So it's definitely what I'm liking about it is I am, and this is something we're going to talk about and do before the end of this call, but I'm terrible at running coach sneak peeks. So this is a way that I have been able to get that info out there without actually doing like a webinar or, Facebook group or whatever. So I'm liking it for that reason, because when I'm talking to somebody about coaching, I can send them there, and instead of being like, oh, I don't actually have a sneak peek scheduled for like a month or whatever. It's just, here's the info.
Okay.
So I'm liking it for that reason.
Do you find that more people, I guess, like the Facebook Live is a little intimidating versus like just looking at a page and it being all laid out?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a more passive way for people to take in the information, for sure. They can do it, secretly. So I think that that's easier on some people.
Okay.
I definitely still want to continue. Like, that's not going to be the only way that I talk about coaching. I would like for us to schedule a team coach sneak peek for October tonight. So we're going to look at our calendars and schedule that tonight. And I want all of you to participate in some capacity. So I would like to do a Zoom call for that instead of just like a Facebook event, because it is a lot more personal and it is a lot more effective. So we're going to schedule that. But before that happens, this is a great way to get that info out there to people, and to people that might not be down for a Zoom call. They're like, well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to talk to people in real life. So it's just easier.
Fair.
Okay, now private inviting. This is what I mean by you are never going to make progress in this business unless you invite. You can do all of the public inviting that you want.
I'm proof of that.
And I am too, guys. Like, for sure, there is a direct correlation between when my business is doing well and how many invites I've sent out. Like, it is positive correlation. You can send you can make every post in the world with a public invite, and you are likely not going to help 3 people. Likely not going to happen. So private inviting is key, and it's absolutely essential. So if you are one of those people that is thinking that you want to build this business for whatever reason, it could be just you want to help people because this business has changed your life, and you want to pay it forward, or you want to, build this into a full-time income. Whatever it is, you have to invite people to do it. So a private invite can start with a connection, but I do not want you to get stuck there. If all you're doing during your action hour is connecting, sending connection messages, and that's where you live, that's great. You're going to make great friends, but that's all you're going to do. You're not going to get customers. You're not going to get coaches by doing that. You have to transition that to an invite in some capacity at some point. Now, if you don't want to, that's fine. But just know that they're just going to be your friend. And if that's all you want, that's great. But you have to transition to an invite. One of the easiest ways to invite somebody and invite them directly without a previous connection message is to use your stories and see who's been viewing your stories. If people are viewing your stories, they're engaging in your content. So a really simple message that I have been sending lately, and I'll put this in the chat right now so you guys can see it. We'll use Molly's name. Hey, Molly. Just don't mind me, I'm typing. Okay, so this is the message that I have been sending to people that have been watching my stories. And this works great as an initial invite, and it also works great as a follow-up because I've sent it to people that I've totally invited before, but they're still watching. So, hey, Molly, I saw you watch my Insta story. Sorry, I'm such a goob sometimes, LOL. Anyway, I know you've seen me talking about my online boot camp, and I wanted to know if you were interested in snagging a spot in my next one. We kick off October 1st. Want me to send you more info? If not, no worries. I just wanted to extend an invite and make sure I didn't leave you out. So it's really easy for them to say no, and that's fine. But it's also really easy for them to be like, yeah, I would like some more info. And you guys would be surprised how many people watch forever and have been thinking about it forever, but they were never ever going to join you unless they got invited directly. That is totally just how some people are. So you can totally use this, and it has been working really well for me. So hopefully it works well for you. You can steal it exactly as always. But you definitely need to be sending a message like this. And even if it's not a story watcher, you could take off the first part and be like, hey, Molly, I saw that you, whatever they've been doing lately that you've seen on their social media, that looks so fun or whatever. And then just transition and say something like, I don't know if you've seen me talk about my online boot camps, but I wanted to know if you were interested in snagging a spot on my next one. We kick off October 1st, blah, blah, blah. So really simple one to send. If you send invites, y'all, that are like that long, okay, that is a major turnoff. So keep it short and sweet. You don't need to give a ton of info. And when they respond to your invite with a yes or sure, send me more info, don't send a ton of info immediately. What you want to do after this is start asking questions. You want to get to the bottom of where they are and what their needs are and what their goals are. And then once they've like poured their heart out to you in terms of what they need, you can come in with, I have the perfect solution for you. And here's what my groups look like. And here's what we offer, XYZ. Now, sometimes if you send a bunch of info, you will have caught somebody at just the perfect time and they're like, yes, sign me up. That again is not the norm. Okay. So you need to get people to remember and really analyze their own need. And then when you provide something of immense value, they'll see that this is what they need. I know I talked about that with Rachel in our thread of like a week ago, I guess, about the team call or the National Wake Up Call that Kim Fitzpatrick was on. If you guys haven't listened to that at all or lately, I would encourage you to listen to it again. She talks a lot about using Share a Cart and how she builds out a Share a Cart depending on that conversation that she's had with people about what their needs are. So make sure that you are really digging deep and asking those questions instead of just like the word vomit info, because that can be a little bit of a turnoff. And then after you send an invite, you need to follow up, okay? How many times have you been the recipient of an invitation to, let's say, Rodan and Fields, or It Works, or Arbonne, or Monet, or whatever it is, and you get this long message and it's a cold invite and you've never talked to this person or you haven't talked to this person in 15 years and then nothing ever happens. Like that's been a million times that's happened. What makes us different is that we follow up. Okay. If you just send out a ton of cold invites and then people never hear from you again, they're not going to think that you're serious about what you're doing. If you follow up with people and you keep following up with people and you keep following up with people, they're going to see that you are committed to what you're doing. You're not just in this as a fad. You're not just here and then you're gone tomorrow. This is something you've committed to. And so they can commit to it also. And I cannot tell you, I would say at this point, probably 80% of the people that join my boot camps are people that I have followed up with at least 5 times. So it's people that I've been talking to for literally 3 years, okay? I had somebody join last month, and she was one of my very first invites I ever sent out 3 years ago. So the fortune is in the follow-up. People are, always in different stages. A message you send today might hit somebody at the wrong time, and they just can't. And then you send them a follow-up in a month, and they're in a totally different spot. Okay. So what I usually do is I send my initial follow-up about 3 days later. So I give them a few days to check it out. And then I just send a really quick message like, hey, just wanted to pop in and see if you got my message. And then I might say something like, I know that, messages can get buried. So just wanted to see if you got a chance to look at that. And then if it's a follow-up after that, I might wait, a week. And this is just if they're ghosting. If they answer you and they say no, then don't wait just 3 days. Wait a little bit longer before you follow up with them again. But if they've ghosted you, that's when I send one like 3 days later. For people that you've invited before and they said no to you, or they said maybe another time, not right now, for whatever reason, I would wait a month. In another month, I would invite them again because a lot can change in a month. Sometimes it's a mindset thing. Sometimes it's just a life is crazy right now thing, and they're not in the right spot. So that's kind of the timeline that I use. If they've ghosted, 3 days. If it's a no, a month. And that's just me. A lot of people have different ways of doing it. I will say you do need to have a good way of organizing who you've talked to in order to do that. Which I don't have a great way of doing that. I used to use a Google Sheet. Now I'm just doing pen and paper. It's a little bit easier for me just in this stage of life to have my little notepad out, and I just am, as I'm talking to people, writing it down. But if you use pen and paper, make sure you date that page that you're writing on so you know when you've talked to them.
When you're using pen and paper, Haley, because I'm still like I thought I had it all figured out with Google Streak, and then my list just got way too long. Are you just going back like a month or going back a couple of days and then just re-following up? Okay.
Yeah. Did you hear that? You can say that louder if you want.
What did he say?
Tim just said that will be improved soon. Tim is coming.
Oh, that's right. He's helping with all that, right?
Creating an organizational system. And who knows, if it's great, maybe I'll contract him out to you guys.
Yes.
But that's for sure a big barrier for me is organization. I lose track of people all the time.
Yeah, and I get so like caught up in like, well, I'm gonna lose them, so then I just get stuck and I don't do anything.
Yeah. See, that's where you just have to, like, it's okay if it's messy. If it's okay, just do it.
Yeah.
Invite people. And honestly, sometimes what I do, if I'm in this like weird headspace, which happens sometimes of like, I don't even know where to start. I don't know who to talk to. I will literally just go down my friends list and click people and open up a message. And if I see that I've messaged them before, I'll follow up with them. It doesn't matter when it was. So that's also a good thing too, if you're looking for people to invite or connect with and you don't know, like maybe your last couple of posts weren't engaged with really well. You can just go down a friends list and be like, okay, I haven't talked to them in a while and connect with them. So that's helpful. Okay. Do y'all all know how to access all of the conversation threads and stuff in the team drive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you know where to find those. Okay. Any questions about inviting? Public, private, whatever. Is everybody in agreement that we need to invite more people? This is 1000% me included. So, one other note on inviting. When you sit down to do your action hour, I want to challenge you, and this is something that I'm doing as well. I was talking to Tim about this just like a week ago. When you sit down to do your action hour, I want you to invite first. Okay. It's really, really easy to leave that to the end because maybe it's not the most fun thing to do. But if none of you guys are in education, that is weird. I usually am talking to like all educators and none of you are educators. Well, Rachel, you had kind of an educator hat on last week, didn't you? But so there's a book that's really popular in education called Eat the Frog. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. It's a like professional development book, but it just talks about like doing the hardest thing or the thing that you don't want to do the most first and just getting it out of the way. Eating the frog. It's kind of a gross analogy, but so do that. When you sit down to do your action hour, send out your invites. Whatever number you've chosen, it needs to be at least 5. I would push you to more, but send those first before you even do the fun things, before you even post to your stories or before you even, just connect or whatever. Just dive in and do it. I was in a push group a year and a half ago with Carl Deichler, and he talked about doing donuts. And the reason he called them donuts, so what he was talking about was when you wake up in the morning, before you do anything else for your business, send 5 invites to people. And he called them donuts because he used the analogy of in baseball, when you're warming up, when you're on deck, you put the little weighted donut on the bat to warm up. And so that was kind of like, that's your warm up for the day, is just sending those invites real quick, just kind of get them out there. And then you've already had a major win for the day. So that's something that I need to be doing more. I haven't done donut inviting in a long time. So maybe I'll do that this week. But do it first and then you can do the more fun things. Like I'm always like, oh, I want to create this content. I want to write, things for my newsletter. I want to, make this pretty, story in Unfold or whatever. No, invite first, then you can do that. Okay. That's another thing I forgot to say. If you guys are not utilizing something like the Unfold app for pre-made stories, y'all, this is a major time saver. So Unfold, it's a free app and you can use to customize a little story thread about inviting to boot camps, inviting to the coaching opportunity. And that is pre-made, ready to go when you need something for your stories to invite people to. Just boom, it's done. So take 10, 15 minutes and do that after you've invited, and create that, and then you have that ready to go. And I would say utilize that weekly, if not every few days, just to get people out there, or get that out there for people. One thing also to remember when you're sharing and when you're inviting publicly, don't assume that your audience has already seen what you're talking about, because your stuff doesn't show up on everybody's feed all the time. And if you are building if you're growing your network, you're going to have new people that haven't heard your stories. So don't feel like you're just, on repeat or a broken record, because you're not. You'll always have new people, and it's not always getting to people. So don't let that prevent you from talking about the same thing over and over. Okay, any other questions? I kept you longer than I meant to. Sorry.
I had a question, but I forgot it.
Well, you can just, obviously. Okay, I am not going to keep you, but I'm going to post a poll in our chat thread about dates for a sneak peek. So I want all of you guys to be able to be there, and you're all going to have a role of some kind, and I'll talk to you about that individually. But I will choose the date that everybody is free, or at least the majority of people are free. And I'll try to give you guys some good options. So click all the ones that you're free for. Okay. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate you hopping on. Happy inviting. All right. I'll see you guys later. Oh, wait.
Need a boom.
So I've been coughing like crazy town. Okay. All right. Are we going to bobblehead Boomy like we always do? Like we said. The bobblehead. Okay. Are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh, Chrissy.
My eyes crossed.
You're making the funniest face. I don't know if you can see this at all.
You're like very...
Okay, we have to do that again. That's so funny though. Okay. Everyone just start bobbleheading. Just start now. Okay, wonderful. All right. Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.